I took my kids by myself with my mother to Disneyland. I have 2 children. At the time, they were 5 and 3. My husband hates Disneyland. He thinks it's the worst place on the planet. It is overcrowded, it is overpriced, it is over hot, and it is overcrowded, and it is overpriced, and it is over hot. He will say all the same things over and over again. So he thinks the happiest place on earth is at home in a quiet house. Well, we're at Disneyland. That works for me. So I go, and I love Disneyland, but until recently, my least favorite ride was the Dumbo ride. Now, they have done a lot about it recently. They have put over shades so that the line is in the shade, but before you were doing terrible switchbacks back and forth for 45 minutes because there are no fast passes. And the worst part about that ride is that while the ride is going, the line does not move. You're waiting there for the full 2 minutes and there is no movement. And so my sweet 5-year-old is tugging at my shirt saying, "Mommy, Mommy, Mommy, when do we get to go on this ride?" And he did it about a dozen times despite the fact that I was showing him, now look at the switchbacks. It goes like this, it goes like this, it goes like this. And then in the back, it deceives you. And behind the ride, there's a switchback, 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 switchback. And then you come up to the front, and then it's your time. So we tried to do this. The wait time was 45 minutes. Halfway through, my daughter and my mom gave up, but my son was committed, and so I stayed with him. I never complained. I was happy the whole time, and I was like, this is for him. And so we get to the closest to the front, and he is still tugging, "Mommy, Mommy, Mommy." And I say to him, "Do you see the woman with the feathers?" And at the time they had wooden feathers. And they said, "This is your magic feather. If she hands you the feather, that's how you know you're getting on an elephant." And so he looked around, I held him up so he could see that she was asking how many people are in your group, and then if it matched up, she would give out the number of feathers, and she knew she had that many elephants and that many feathers. He got this and didn't ask me again. We get up to the very front, she's handing out feathers, she hands the last feather to the person right in front of us. I took a deep breath. And then she comes to us and she says, "How many in your group?" And I had trained him and he said, "2." And she said, "I'm actually out of feathers. However, if you will hold this imaginary feather, I will get you on the next ride." He snatched that feather so fast. And he was in it. So we're waiting the 2.5 minutes for the ride in front of us to go, and my son tugs on me again, and he says, "Mommy, Mommy," and I said, "We are on next." And he said, "No, Mommy, I'm tired. Will you please hold the feather?" And I wanted to laugh, and I wanted to hug him and kiss him all over all at the same time, because it was so great. And what I love about this is that he got it, the magic of Disneyland. He knew that the magic feather was the key to him being able to get on that ride, and he was willing to grasp it. However, there were so many pieces at play. I think sometimes as leaders and as bosses, we intend to hand out a magic feather and just expect everyone to go along with whatever's going on, without the magic that comes with the magic feather. And more importantly, the biggest place where this happens is in our communication. From the top down, we just disseminate communication and expect people to grab it and love it and feel like it's the best thing they were ever given. And sometimes as bosses and leaders, especially at the top, we have a struggle because we have something that needs to be communicated, and it doesn't always get to be something where there is collaboration, and it doesn't always get to be something where there is input. So how do we as bosses and leaders give out communication in a way where people grab something even imaginary, hold it as their own, and know that that is the key to what happens next in their careers?